Hi guys, I'm Uncle Richie.
Yo, what up? J Money's back.
And this is C10. And you're listening to the Uncle's Podcast.
Excellent. Welcome everyone to this amazing episode of the Uncle's Podcast. First of all, just wanted to thank Uncle Richie. Obviously, got us into this new place, this new space, this new studio, so to speak. It's a really nice facilities, great room. It's at his workplace, so just want to thank Strike for doing the honors and letting us borrow one of their rooms for this. And we just want to say thank you. But right now we have a very, very, very important guest. A very special guest. As you would have heard last week's episode when Uncle Richie was standing on the grass, he mentioned one of the boys coming on to the podcast for this episode, Brandon Lee. We're joined by Brandon Lee today.
Hello.
Welcome to the Uncles.
Thanks for having me. Been following you guys for a while, and I'm just honored to be on this podcast and hopefully you can share some insight into my life. But I just want to say you guys are doing an amazing job at the moment. So appreciate what you guys are doing and appreciate having me on board.
Thanks, Brandon. Thank you very much. It's really great to have you on this episode. It's been a long time coming, so let's get stuck into it.
Yeah.
So Brandon Lee, we'll dig a little bit deep into his upbringing. His part of his journey was obviously going to the same school as us, as Uncle Richie and I. And then you sort of branched off, did your own thing overseas, and then worked in different industries as well. And then you sort of brought it back to what you studied in uni, and now here you are. What's this, like 12 years later?
Yeah, it's a full circle moment, but I've had a great journey from the time I met you guys from high school all the way to now, and so much has happened in between. It's crazy, where our lives kind of branch off to, but we kind of always come back, full circle moment. So
that's right.
And then here I am with you guys on the podcast. So, but keen to share. Like I said, there's just a lot has happened in the last 10, 12 years, and
that's right. No, we'll start off by touching on obviously your upbringing. Where were you born, Brendan? Where did it all begin?
So I was born in Port Moresby. My parents were living there. So mum is from Rabaul, and dad's from Melbourne. So dad had been working there for a while, and obviously mum had been working there as well. And then basically, I was born in Port Moresby, and then we kind of moved back home to Rabaul, and all mum's family's over there as well. So it was just good. It was the best upbringing up there as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously my brother and sister followed after that, so they were born in Rabaul, and we just grew up there, spent most of our lives, our childhood years there as well. So I reckon probably 9 or 10 years.
Yeah,
there.
Rabaul International.
Yep. And then also VIPS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, VIPS. Vunapope International Primary School.
Shout out Vunapope International Primary School.
Yep. But no, we when we go back home and stuff as well, we'll always go back and see our roots and catch up with old people that we used to have amazing memories with when we were growing up as kids. And I think it was just awesome upbringing. Like I said, we just had a great time as kids, and I'm sure you guys would agree as well, growing up back home. But it was probably around 9 or 10 years of my sort of childhood, and then eventually from there we moved over to Australia and made the move.
So you were about 9, just under 10 years old.
Yep.
What do you remember from that time? You moved over. What was one thing that really that you can remember that was eye-opening, or anything like a memory that you remember from moving over from Rabaul?
Yeah, so we moved over to Cairns. So that for us was a massive move. Just being so used to, the PNG culture and growing up there, and then moving to a whole new country was like a whole new world, basically. Like even though like Cairns, you still had some PNG people there as well, but like it just felt like a whole different place. Like small city type.
Yeah, that was a few years, but actually that was more than almost 20 years ago now.
Yeah, that would have been, I would say probably 2003.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so pretty much just over 20 years ago.
Yeah,
so been in Australia for at least 20 years, but I would say the move to Cairns
was the big one.
It was an eye opener, just because like we're just so used to growing up in the bush, and like that was a whole separate lifestyle, and then you come into like a small city type, and your whole life just kind of changes. And when you're so young as well, like because you're learning the languages back home and stuff as well, and you come back to like a whole different country, and like it's like
different.
It was just
lifestyle.
The lifestyle, everything's just changed. But we had friends that moved over from PNG to Cairns as well, and I think that helped us a little bit. Just knowing that we did have some friends or relatives that actually moved over as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's
probably more so a culture shock.
Shock. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, especially during that time, it would have been. But moving on. So when was it when you moved down to Brisbane?
We stayed there. So we grew up there for the next 5 years or so, 5-6 years. Yeah. Pretty much till the end of primary school.
Oh wow.
I ended up coming down to Brisbane just before the start of high school. So that would have been 2007, end of 2007.
Yeah. And you went down the road here, a school just down the road. Was it? Yeah.
So it was a primary school. So I finished off my primary school at St. Joey's at Nanda.
That's a good old Nanda.
So it was great. Just kind of getting and established to like a bigger city, and just taking some time to actually finish out my primary schooling here, and then make that transition into high school next year as well. So oh,
that's awesome. And then obviously after primary school at Nanda, St. Joey's, you went to the other St. Joey's, St. Joseph's Naji College.
No, so basically where I met all you guys as well. I mean, honestly, to this day, still probably the best decision my parents have made. And I'm sure they can agree as well. But just for me personally, like moving to a school like Naji College in itself was a whole eye opener as well. Like just how big the school was. The culture shock as well. You had so many people from different backgrounds. Naji had everything. Like it had everything. And it still does. Like it still has everything it has to offer, and like I think that's where opportunities, start to take place and stuff as well. So,
absolutely.
That was in 2008.
2008.
So I started grade 8, 2008, and I was there for the whole 4 or 5 years, or was it?
4 years.
4 years at least, but.
4. Yeah. No, 5 years.
5 years. 5 years. I'm like, how many years in high school now? But 5 years. So 2008 to 2012.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, that's really good. Like I remember it was a maths class. I remember Mr. Curran, good old Kaza. Curran, Mr. Curran.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, I remember just lining up, and then Brandon was like, "Hey, are you from PNG?" I was like, "Yeah, it was Skell." Like, and then that's basically where we became friends. And then obviously athletics. Uncle Richie remembers that.
Yeah.
We're all just like, athletics was funny, bro. I remember the story where, not the story, but this memory where we're all just like pumped. And everyone does the 100 meter, and we're just like, we got this. And then like 200 meters, bro. Everyone that ran 200 meters, like, fuck, this is a different beast. I remember Uncle Richie just like, oh fuck.
We'd always go to the track meets like every Friday or something, and just something crazy would just happen. But those are just one of many good memories.
Yeah, especially like now seeing the Olympics finish. Like, do you ever get those memories where like, oh damn, like that?
All the time. Like if I look at anything on the TV that reminds me of Naji, and obviously like sports is a big one.
Yeah.
You know, if I watch the footy, if I watch soccer, if I watch athletics, like, man, I just always like reminisce to those days.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
when we're always going out, training hard, going to the track meets like every Friday. Those were the days.
Okay, if you still have the picture, that picture, put that in right now. There's heaps of pictures.
We've got so many memories of that place. But just great times. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. I say absolutely a lot. I need to. If you have a new word for me, you know, suggest that.
Absolutely count.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely count starts now. Yeah. Wait, no, seriously. It's good to have you on the show. Speaking about sports, let's dial it back a bit. So, for those of you who don't know Brandon Lee, if you stalked his Instagram, if you didn't hear much about what Uncle Richie said last week, Brandon Lee is an athlete, born athlete. Basically, has done it all from soccer, rugby. You're also doing athletics.
Well, now into CrossFit,
triathlons,
marathons as well. So.
Marathons. So yeah, Brendan's been involved in sport from when we can remember, through high school, and then until now. You're still basically just owning the bloody CrossFit space, man. Like, that's awesome. And yeah, share with us. Going back to soccer, because that's the sport we remember you as. Remember you being involved in high school. Yep. When did that all start for you? When did the love of soccer start? Where did it all begin?
Yeah, I mean, soccer was basically, it's been a big part of my life. I mean, even back to PNG days, you know, like we were kids just playing out on the grass oval, and, you know, that's where soccer first started for me. But like, obviously we didn't have proper clubs and stuff back then. So when we moved over to Cairns, that's when I sort of got my first taste of like competitive soccer, you know, like proper teams, and end up representing Far North Queensland up there growing up for a few years there. We'd travel around Queensland, you know, just to play some comps, which was like good experience. And I think that was the first step, you know, for me, like starting to get into like the competitive sports. And I was like, for me, like at that point, I kind of knew I wanted to sort of pursue that a little bit more. And then obviously like making the transition down to Naji, like, you know, that's where, like I said before, like opportunities start for a lot of people there. You know, like having a school like that can actually provide people with opportunities to go further into their sporting careers, I think is a massive part as well. And for me, like that was like the catalyst, you know, for my whole soccer career, like leading in, like from that point and onwards as well. Yeah. Obviously, like I played soccer at Naji pretty much the whole 5 years. I was in the first 11 for 3 years at least, but I was in the squad for one of those years as well. So I was kind of part of it for 4 years, like since I was in grade 9. Yeah,
grade 9. That's right.
I didn't really get much game time or any at all in that sort of year. Yeah. But once I, you know, from grade 10 onwards, I kind of just more established my role into that first team, and just kind of kicked things off. And like we had a good season in my first year, and season my second year. But that last season we had, you know, was a great season as well. Yeah. But those were the years where it kind of really, you know, set in stone, like my drive for soccer, especially. And I was doing a lot of other sports as well. Like soccer was just that main one. Yeah,
because you were doing club soccer. Yeah. During that time as well.
Yeah. So I was doing club soccer. So I played for Peninsula Power. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know as well, Peninsula Power is basically up in Redcliffe. Yeah. So that's like amazing club. I've spent, you know, a good chunk of my life there as well, since moving down to Brisbane, and like great coaches and great teams that I've played with over there, and like even as of late, like I've, you know, represented, you know, them in certain comps, like you know, the Brisbane Premier League, that's right, Queensland Premier League, things like that. So like even doing that on the side, and then having Naji Soccer as well, like that was really like for me that period of time where it kind of just, you know, drove me more to want to like pursue that, you know, long term. Yeah. and hopefully make a career out of it as well, which, in the future kind of, paid off in a way. But that's just kind of always, I look back at, those days at Naji and, the opportunities that we had doing, athletics, soccer, whatever it was, and, where it's gotten me today as well.
Yeah.
But besides the soccer part, like in Naji, I did athletics, track and field as well. So like we were mentioning before, like, we're always trying to do as much as we can and going out to the track meets.
High jump was what Brandon really specialized in.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably more like suited for me at the time.
Yeah.
Like I was really good at the jumping events. So I was doing long jump, triple jump, high jump as well.
High jump, yeah.
Those
spikes, I remember those spikes.
Yeah, those spikes.
You got passed around a little bit.
Like underwear.
Mate, after that year, I was done with it. I tossed those spikes out. But
Around, why? It's good.
But honestly, like we I had a great time with different sports that we went through as well, and like you guys would agree as well. Doing athletics, but there was just so many different sports you could do. Like it was just endless.
Oh, heaps. Yeah.
Like, and I think for us, that was good. Like it kept us busy and it kept us, wanting to, like it kind of like built a strong community. And like, we've known so many people just from
through
sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Naji, and outside of Naji as well. Like, all the GPS comps.
Yeah, the guys that are your enemies in high school become your mates outside.
There's so many guys that I've like played against and, in other teams across the GPS comps. And like, you never think to kind of, associate with them after school because like you kind of just don't really know each other that well. But like, things come full circle and, like now there's boys from other GPS schools that I'm, good mates with, and it's crazy.
It is crazy. And also, just like random memory, I remember this was at TSS. This was a final. I remember Uncle Richie did a little pass inside when Uncle Richie just put on the First 11 jersey. Do you remember that?
Actually, I think it was his debut, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
Honestly, there could never have been a bigger game or bigger moment to make your debut in this game. Like there was just no better game to make it. And I think, like, which we'll talk a bit about it. But like,
if there's footage, I'm sure Uncle Richie has that footage.
We'll
dig around in those chambers.
We'll have to dig around in the archives.
Yeah, you had it. I remember you sharing it on Facebook or something.
I do have an old footage of it. But for those of you who want some clarification, we were down bad, I think, in the first 15 minutes of the game. Like TSS ended up ultimately winning that year, but it could have been, and we were so close. Like we were one game behind, and we ended up finishing second that year. But we played TSS, I think, the third game of the season or something like that, and they were like, favorites to win that one as well. So they were a great team. Like, you can tell they had some rep boys on that team as well. Yeah. Like, and TSS is like, it's an intimidating place to go to as well. Like
Shark Tank.
Oh, bro, like we've had some tough games there, and like we knew we were up for a tough game, but and then Richie makes his debut in that, and we were 2-0 down. Like this is like, you could not have scripted a better script than this, but like, it was 2-0 down at the start, and we were like, man, we're getting our asses kicked here. Like we're gonna lose by like 5 goals or something.
Fuck.
And then like we held it in there. Like we just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Eventually, like we got that 1 goal back. Scotty Coulson.
Good old Scotty Coulson.
He scored the first goal. Like honestly, I think this would have been like in the last 5 minutes or so. Yeah. Like there was like 5-10 minutes left, and Scotty comes up with a nice goal, just to bring us back to 2-1. And we were like, just holding on just a little bit of hope, like there's got to be something there. Like we just wanted to walk away at least with a draw, like because as we all know, like it's like one game is precious in GPS sports. You lose one game that could cost you the whole season. So
absolutely.
And if we can take 2 points away from, or at least take 1 point away from TSS, like that was going to be good. So. And then I think like literally like the last minute, and I don't know when Richie you came on, but you must have come on like late in the second half or something.
I think it was 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, like you came on because I
10
think
minutes to go.
I was like,
you know what? I think
Richie was like limping from rugby as well.
You know what? I think no, because someone got injured. Was it? Because
it was before the rugby season. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Remember, it was soccer.
They changed it around. Yeah, they changed around that year.
The rugby guy was like, okay, I'm giving you this one chance. You can go play this game.
Yep.
I spoke to Cole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was like, we want you on the bench for this game.
Far out.
And then someone got injured, so he was like, warm up.
Honestly, I think it was Frank Awakai.
Frank or Shane?
Oh, was it Shane?
Shane
Awakai.
Shane Awakai. Yeah, that's right. Shane.
But I think Frank did end up playing as well.
Shane.
But Shane was in our team, and I think he was new. I think that was his first year as well. So he
rocked up the first.
He was a rookie as well.
Bro.
But I think Shane actually got injured in that game, and then you stepped on, and we were just like under the pump, and obviously we didn't really have a set game plan for like at the end, because we're just like, let's just get the ball up to the end of the field and see what we can do. And I think we had the ball like deep in our half, and then I don't know, like someone made a stop and then like passed the ball out to Richie on the wing,
on the right. I remember it was right in front of the grandstand,
and so we were still in our half, right? So I play striker, so I'm always up at the top, and basically like I'm hovering around that front end, like on the last defender, and I'm basically like kind of shifting off to the side by myself, just so I can have like no one, marking me. And as soon as Richie gets the ball, just like turns around. I don't know what you were seeing, but like you must have seen me or something, and then you just like booted that ball so far like down the field. I just remember it going straight over my head, and I was like, I've got to chase onto this. And I was running down the side. This was like on the sideline too. And like I was running down the sideline, and the keeper starts coming out, and I was like, man, like this could go horribly wrong, or like we could actually like, score off this. And he came out like just to the edge of the box or something. So that's like a good, and it was on the side. So it was a good like 20, 30 yards out. And he came sprinting out, and as soon as I come over, like I just beat him to the ball, and I was like, my only thought is just to chip it over him, eh? Like that's my only hope, and I chipped it just before he got to me, and that ball just sailed over, and I swear it was like the longest like time in between. Like the ball was just in the air, and it was just sailing. And at first, it looked like it was going out, like from my view. And it was just bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And then literally, like, I don't know what happened, but it just like bounced one way, hit the post, and went in. And bro, and this was like right in front of the TSS crowd.
I remember that.
Like, right in front of them.
Good old.
Bro, honestly, like just to actually run back and just like, just
give it to them
into their like on their home turf as well. Like no better feeling, like still to this day. Like best memory ever. And like all thanks to super sub Richie. I just got called up for one game, and then all of a sudden like he sets up like the biggest moment of the game out of nowhere.
The biggest moment of the year, hey, basically.
Bro, I just remember it was so good. Like I kicked the ball, and then Brandon just hit it nicely. And then as soon as it went in, like I just remember running over to him, and then running over to the TSS crowd, and we're like,
honestly, we were giving it to that crowd, like, and like there was just no better feeling, and like that was my senior year as well.
That's right.
So like,
that's good.
We just wanted to try and stay undefeated as much as we can, and that was like, if we didn't score that, we would have lost that game, and I reckon that would have been our season done. So that was a big moment in I will never forget. Like honestly, like that sticks in my mind, like as up there as like top 3 moments of like my sporting career, just because
Yeah.
of like just on the magnitude of like your last year at Naji soccer, like scoring the last minute goal just to tie things up. Like I said, you just can't write a better script than that. And like having Richie, pass that ball as well, just out of nowhere.
What are the odds?
Man.
I know that's random memory. Yeah, honestly, I just remember that now. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Good to share those kind of memories, and no, definitely, good to cherish moments like that. And speaking of, I guess big games, and you've played a few other big games as well. Obviously, after high school, actually, you played a little bit of rugby. Obviously, when the rugby season came around, just to top off the year, you guys won as well. The fifths, was it? And Naji, yeah, that was awesome. That was good to see you lace up for that. And then after school, you had a scholarship. You applied for a scholarship and then went over to the States.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, man. All I remember before then was your go away party, and a few people
I don't even remember that.
few people got a bit drunk and on the street. John Osiba. Sorry, John Osiba. I know you'll watch this, but dude, what were you thinking? Not jokes.
We love you, Jono.
We love you, Jono. But yeah. Tell us, like, obviously that was the big changing moment, I guess, or the opportunity that.
Yeah. So going off, my opportunities at Naji and then club soccer as well. It kind of led me to that next phase of my sporting career as well, and there was an opportunity that came up with soccer to potentially go to the States as well. And at the time, like, this would have been around year 12, like, in the beginning or middle of year 12. And there was a scouting agency that kind of, associated with American colleges and universities back there. And they were just having scouts here to, potentially, find good talent and get them, basically overseas and into colleges and universities and get their degree and still play sports at a high level as well. And to be honest, at first, like, I kind of hesitated on it. I think it was more so the reality of like, man, like, you're gonna leave everything behind and, go away. Like, I didn't know anything about sacrifices as much at that time. Like, we're just in year 12 and like, I've never been in a situation like that. And so just thinking about, potentially going overseas, leaving all your family, your mates, for a good, like 4 or 5 years, like at least, that was something that was like daunting to like think about. So I kind of hesitated on that a bit. And honestly, like, if it wasn't for my mum, I don't think I would have gone.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth. And, so she played a big part in that because at first, like I said, like, I was hesitant on going. Mum, saw something else and was like, there's a great opportunity here.
That's right.
I don't know what it is with mums, but, like, they see something in you that you don't see at all.
Yeah.
Like, even when you're kids, when you're growing up, even when you're adults as well, like, and just like your parents, but like for my case in this particular moment was my mum, and she was just so adamant, like, you've got to try this, you've got to do it. If you don't get selected, you don't get selected. You've got nothing to basically lose in that sense. So she was the one that convinced me to go. So she had a chat with me, and I always remember to this day like having that chat with her, and she booked me in for that, and basically went for this, like, I guess you can call it tryout sort of thing. And that was like, there must have been like 1,000 boys or something,
Wow.
all trying out for the same thing. And from that moment, like, you did like these small clinics over a few days, and you have all these scouts, watching you and stuff. And then, so I just kind of did that and didn't really expect, like, I had a good turnout. Like, I actually, I did well for what I could do at the time. And I walked away, thinking, it's like 50-50, like, I was like, oh, like, I feel like I have a good shot, but if I don't, I'm not too upset. But yeah, like they narrowed it down to, top 50 people to sort of progress to the next stages, which we had interviews for as well. And then, yeah, so I end up, being one of those 50 people. And I think at that point I was kind of like, oh yeah, there's kind of a bit of hope here.
Yeah.
Like I can, get to the next stage and see what happens. And yeah, we did some more clinics and then some interview processes as well. And one thing led to another. And I think they must have narrowed it down to like top 20 or 25 or something like that. So, and just to see like my name on that was kind of surreal, like you kind of just like in that moment you were like, man, like I'm actually going overseas, or like I could be going overseas. And that was a bit of a shock. And obviously mum and dad were happy, like, they want the best for me. And at that time, mum was super stoked. Like she was just like so happy, that I can actually, make something of myself as well through soccer. And because I've been doing it for, at that point, probably like a good
10 years.
10 years,
Yeah.
at that point, I think I was just turning, I was still 18.
Yeah.
I was 18, so I'd been playing for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, basically, went through the whole process with the agency there. And then, yeah, I got matched with a college in West Virginia, so in America, so over on the East Coast.
Yeah.
West Virginia University, and that's kind of where things started for me. And at that point, I knew I was going overseas to university. So yeah, like I said, like it was just a surreal moment. Like
straight into college.
Like oh, mate,
yeah.
the accent.
No, that's true. Yeah. Big changes, hey. Wow. Yeah.
No, but bro, it was honestly like an amazing experience as well. Like for me, just going overseas, I couldn't have. Yeah, I just couldn't have thought of anything better for myself, especially with soccer as well. Like I could have stayed here and done something as well.
Of course,
and still made something of it, but it's not like every day. You get to go to a country like
hell
America
no, yeah,
and play a sport that you love as well, and still study as well. So,
still study.
Yeah,
golden opportunity.
Yeah, that was exactly. That was a great opportunity for myself, and so 2013, you were still in high school, Richie. Yep.
Yeah, Richie. Senior year, Captain Richie.
Senior year, but so that was the year I left. I left around July, August, I think, and then because college there they start like mid-year or like like their summer is that sort of middle period of the year, like June, July.
Yeah.
And then August I think was like the start of our season.
Yeah. We saw you off at the airport. Swapped jerseys. I got one of his first 11 jerseys. You got one of my rugby jerseys.
That somewhere, but we did a swap over with our jerseys, and I think that was a special moment as well.
Yeah, bro, definitely.
Something I could take with me. Overseas to kind of remind me of back home.
The boys were still here.
Mates,
all the boys. Yeah.
So it was like honestly like it was a tough. At the end of the day, it was a tough decision, but it was definitely a rewarding one as well.
Yeah.
So I went over to West Virginia, spent 2 years there, did my associate's degree there. Also, played 2 years of soccer there as well. And got some accolades, some awards there as well.
Yeah.
All-American.
That's right. All-American.
Top 3 goal scorer in the country for our division, and it was a great experience to say that you've actually done that. It was crazy. So so I had a great time there. Again, it's like opportunities lead to other opportunities, and so after my 2 years there, I had a university in Texas reach out. So I had a few different colleges and universities reach out to me as well, but there was one at University of Texas which just basically reached out after the couple seasons I had, which was really like, rewarding to see as well.
Yeah.
All your hard efforts, for those first couple of years kind of pay off. And so they wanted me, to transfer over to their college and be a part of their team. And I was like, hell yeah, like I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's another experience as well, and like moving states too, like from the East Coast to like central part of America and good old Texas.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeehaw. No, that's true, bro. Yeah,
bro, you would fit in Texas. I could just picture with the cowboy hat. I'm sure we can get a photo of this up too as well. Like, get some cowboy boots on you.
Oh, bro.
Belt.
Please.
They think you're like American or something.
They probably would, eh?
Nah, make that's cringe. Yeah, but anyway. So
Have you had any aspirations to go to America one day? Or?
yeah, look, I wanted to give Donald Trump a run for his money, but they won't let me in. Obviously, the wall's too high. No, I'm kidding. Wait, look, anyway,
That's
Brendan,
a whole different topic.
that's
right
another
there.
topic. We'll get into that.
Just
Politics,
brush that to the side.
world politics. Anyway, so Texas, obviously you'd come back for holidays. I remember we used to see you a few times
So
when
I
you're
came
back.
back. I throughout my whole college career, like I came back, I think a couple times. Like it was mentally hard staying there as well for the whole 4 or 5 years that I was there. I was like, I have to come back. At least some of the breaks, and even go back to PNG as well. Like I think one of the breaks, I actually came back, made the trip to PNG, and
Straight back to Rabaul.
Yeah, straight back to Rabaul, and then from there back to America, and
Sheesh.
like the flights are just they take a lot
Hectic,
out of
eh?
you.
I got a whole 24 hours
Bro,
almost.
it's like a whole day of traveling. It's so it's rough.
Yeah.
But I'd done it so many times in that sort of 4 or 5 years that I was just getting used to it. But so Texas, spent 2 years there as well. Those were probably, well, especially my last year, my senior year, there was probably, my best year in college, just in terms of like the way I finished it and the way I went about it as well. Just like I trained, fairly hard towards the end of my second and last year, and I just wanted to finish off my college career on a good note. And I didn't have the greatest of seasons in my second last year, but I had a great conversation with my coach at the time. He's kind of moved on now, but he was a great coach, great mentor as well. And I just remember he sat me down in his room when we had like sort of, they call it exit meetings. Kind of like towards the end of the season, you have your final meetings with your coach, and then kind of prepare for the next season. And he was talking to me about basically, there are two types of seniors. The seniors that just want to kind of go through or cruise through their last year and finish out their college careers, just normally, and not worry about where things end up with their season. Or there's the seniors that actually like really care about it and want to try and take themselves further with that and have a great season. And I really took that to heart, and I was like, I've got to train my ass off here, and just it's my last year. Like I've dedicated 4 years into being over here. I was like, got to make a good year. And it was a great year. So like, I think to this day it was still one of our best years in the college, I guess, history as well. So we were like one of the top teams it's had in its history, and I ended up scoring the most goals in that comp as well, pretty much throughout our whole conference, which was something else for me, and that led to a lot of awards.
You were in the papers as well at one stage.
Newspapers.
I remember.
It was just like
random.
It was an experience. Like like you kind of reflect on it, and like it shows like how hard work can actually pay off as well.
Oh yeah, true.
Like
Absolutely.
I worked hard for that last year, especially, and in saying that, like I worked hard for all the other years, but just to finish strong in Texas was like, that was something that meant a lot to me.
100%.
And so I just end up scoring the most goals in that season, picking up basically All American awards, top goal scorer, MVP awards as well.
Yeah, wow.
Even like athlete scholar awards. Keeping my grades up.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, it was like, honestly, like it was a great year for myself, and I think, looking back at it, I don't have any regrets. I made the most of what I had and the opportunities I had there as well. So I finished my time out there pretty strong, and then I guess just kind of took my life back to Australia. Like I wanted to make something of it in America, but it was just so hard there.
Of course,
just trying to grow up yourself there, and like even trying to find jobs there after.
Basically become an immigrant, hey?
Basically, I was only there on a student visa.
Yeah.
Like just to be there on like a, on a normal visa. Like, it was just so much harder.
It really, like, honestly, just from that conversation, it really puts into perspective what, like, people coming from other countries, and even people coming from like countries to Australia and doing that. I think in America it's a little bit different as well. Like,
it's so culturally diverse over there. Like there's so many different backgrounds, different nationalities coming over to the country, and like it's almost just like a normal thing back there because of so many. Like you go to all the universities and colleges there, and there's just like high percentages of just foreign students. A lot of them, they're for the same reasons I am as well. Just kind of
chasing the dream.
Yeah, like or just studying abroad, basically. Like they're just over there to just get their education, experience, like lifestyle over there as well. But I think like even our teams, like you look at our teams, and probably like 80% would have been international.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's crazy to think, hey, because like like when I was growing up, playing in Peninsula Power, playing at Naji, like we had international players, but like it was mostly Australian on our teams, and just to see that, like being a part of like that 70-80% of internationals on a team, it was like eye opening. There's only like 4 Americans on my team.
Sheesh.
Like, it's crazy, but like there's so many people there for the same reasons I was, and it was just good to share that with them.
And then obviously, so Brandon finished off his journey in America, his scholarship, finished off uni strong, and then he moved back to Brisbane. I think you went for a holiday and then came back.
Yep.
And then I think you were here for, I remember there was a Taki night. I remember that's the QT, and like, they usually have this Taki night thing. And I just remember Brandon just arrived freshly that day. Brandon, bro, having a little party at my house, come around.
Yeah.
And then, after that, like I was already working at that time, just at one of the logistics companies here. And then Brandon basically came to we went to Taki, and then I told you, call this number, you get the job.
Yeah.
So, Brandon was, came back and then had to help you out with a little swing there.
To adjust back to the Australian lifestyle. Like, I mean, like I felt like at that time, like I was just always moving. Hey, like I wasn't properly like established in one area, because I think the longest time I'd lived in one area was probably in PNG. Like the first 9 years of my life, and then being in Cairns for another like 5 or 6 years, and then being in Brisbane for another 5 or 6 years at that time, and then going to America for another 5 or 6 years. So I was kind of just bouncing around, and like it was hard to kind of like establish myself in one area for a while. And then I never got used to it, and then I moved back.
You got back,
States, and even then, like I was, I felt like I was finding my feet again. I just needed a new job. See what I could do with my degree as well, because I finished my degree in the States. But it was just like whatever I could find at the time, and I kind of just took a little break first, and then like you said, when
logistics
I bumped into you
at Taki night,
at the Taki night, I was just like, hey, like, where you working at? If you can hook me up with a job, just for the time being.
Sitting in the lunchroom and then in strolls Brando, Frando Lee. Just
Yeah. So we back to the good old Toll days.
Toll, bro.
So
Toll priority.
Yeah, we worked at Toll together for a bit. It was good. It was good,
Yeah, it was
and even that led to a few other things. Like we end up moving in together.
Yeah, that's right.
As well. So
That was fun times.
even that was
Good old Tagum.
Yeah, good
Tagum Tings. Yeah, we call it Tagum Tings.
Take him things and good old Brindle Ghetto as
Bruno
well.
Ghetto,
Yeah.
of course. The hood.
Yeah, the hood. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Dangerous. Dangerous, Richie. Yeah.
Well, we'll visit that another day.
Yeah, that's for another segment, guys.
Yeah.
The Boondall Ghetto.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was like honestly like coming back to Brisbane was like just hard, like just to get back into it. And like I didn't even know where all my friends were as well, like in terms of like where they'd gone.
Everyone
like,
left.
You know, like I
Oh,
finished
yeah.
high school and just kind of left. You know, like I was
Yeah.
one of the first ones to leave.
Yeah,
And,
reconnecting again must
like,
have been
coming back
difficult.
down,
Yeah,
like reconnecting, seeing old friends, and like just seeing where they
Everyone
were
was
at
at,
in their
yeah.
lives. Hey, and like just seeing, if we can just catch up again and try to get back to how I remember things before I went to the States, but reality was like that just wasn't happening. Like
Yeah.
everyone had gone off and done their own thing, and you kind of just like, what do I do in this situation?
Exactly.
And that's when I kind of just wanted to focus on myself and like, at least if I can get my life, back on track in Australia, then hopefully like other things can kind of fall into place as well. And and then working with you, living with you as well,
Yeah.
like that kind of just started it all.
Yeah. No, that was good. Good.
Yeah, good times, good couple of years over at Tagum, but that was, and then obviously, COVID hit.
Yeah, COVID. That's right. COVID
Like,
hit when we
how do
lived. Yeah.
like how can we forget COVID? Like I came back in 2018, and then like towards the middle part, so I only had about 6-7 months back
That's
in
right.
Brisbane, and then COVID hit the next year, start of the year, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like I was trying to find jobs at that time as well, and then once COVID hit, like I struggled.
that was a tough one.
I couldn't find anything, and
That was the same time I sort of graduated as well. Jobs was so hard to find.
And I actually had started my masters as well.
That's
towards
right.
the end of 2018. So I'd actually gone to UQ for
That's right.
one semester, and then COVID hit, and I kind of just put that on pause as well.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of hoping to see if I can, get something in my field and my
Mhm.
work, and try to make a career out of it. But it was so hard. Like, and I'm sure it was a lot. It was harder for a lot of other people as well.
Yeah.
Just to go through those 3 years or so,
Yeah.
like of the unknown and what what's going to happen basically.
And then you got into fitness through someone at Toll.
So,
You joined.
exactly, and and I don't want to say like COVID, was a good opportunity for other things in life, but like for myself, like one thing that was like a shining light in that sort of dark times during COVID. The importance of how like fitness at the time, kind of helped me through it as well. And obviously, like I had fitness background in soccer and other sports as well, but to actually have like the opportunity to like work at a gym, even through those times as well, was a whole different experience.
Yeah.
So I ended up, becoming a basically like at the time a part-time coach.
Yeah.
Trainer at one of my local gyms out at Northgate.
Just down the road.
Just down the road actually.
Yeah.
So we were originally called PLC Northgate. So that's where I kind of like all throughout COVID, like since 2019, that's where I basically based my fitness journey at that time through there, because even soccer was a little bit iffy. Like I wasn't sure what was going to happen with that, and I knew gyms were kind of still in the same process as well, like not knowing if we were going to open doors or things like that. But just working on my fitness like outside. I remember doing like, so many workouts outdoors.
Yeah.
Things like that. And I was starting to enjoy that side of things, kind of like I wasn't pushing soccer away completely, but
Yeah.
I was just like, I want to try and switch things up a bit, and how can I
Yeah.
make something of this? And yeah, so I ended up getting into like, I guess you can say like the CrossFit side of things,
Yeah.
as well. So for those first couple of years during COVID, I basically worked there and trained there pretty much full time. Like I was just always there. It was a big part of my life, especially coming back from the States. So it was good for myself to actually settle in with, and like find something from that and try and make something of it. And I think the most important thing was like just enjoying it. I think that was the biggest thing.
And so you did, obviously you did that for a few years now.
I did that for a few years.
And then last year, complete turnaround, going back to what you studied in uni. And you're enjoying that so far. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So obviously I'm still doing like the whole gym side of things as well. Like I'm not a coach anymore, but like I still go to the gym. So now we've basically rebranded into a gym called Flavor Fit. So we're based down in Hendra as well. So literally just like down the road.
Nice.
But I was coaching there for a brief period up until late last year as well. And then, I basically had an opportunity come up as well. So that was to do with my line of work, which is in environmental engineering. It was just kind of like out of nowhere, basically.
Yeah.
So
now the man travels for work.
Yes, busy man. But honestly, like it was something that I definitely needed at the time as well. Just coming off COVID
change.
and just wanted to change and still like go into something that actually like I worked hard for in the States. Like I studied there for a good 4 or 5 years. And, I wanted something to show for it as well.
Sure.
And I think also that aspect of making your parents proud. I think still wanting to, because ultimately like they helped me get to the States as well. So a big part of me was kind of trying to repay them in a way by going into my line of work and like what I studied for those 4 or 5 years. And I think it was just for myself. It was definitely like a big turning point for me. And I was just so happy, just to get something in that. And so I've been working there since the start of this year. So probably last 8 months or so. And it's been great. Like honestly, like
excellent,
best, like amazing experience. Work with some good people, and it's got me traveling around a little bit as well, which is good. Like last week,
something different.
Yeah, like last week I was down in Perth for a week, and
I'm gonna miss you. I'm heading there this weekend. So.
Yeah, and you're heading down there this weekend.
That's dangerous.
We'll have to do a podcast down in Perth one day or something.
We'll definitely will, bro. Yeah, uncle's in Perth. For sure.
Yeah, but honestly, like again, I think the theme of this is like opportunities and.
100%.
One thing just kept leading to another, and I'm happy with where it's kind of got me to as well, because you kind of look back at the journey and like see what you had to go through to get to this point, and I think now it's kind of like things have paid off.
Yes.
So I'm in a good situation at the moment, work and obviously sports as well, and still trying to make time for that. Doing a whole variety of sports that you can kind of imagine, and that's a big part of my life at the moment as well. So things like CrossFit, triathlons, marathons, now just like Hyrox as well.
Hyrox,
getting involved with that.
A big comp coming up in Melbourne,
which is becoming big, and we had a good turnout for the Brisbane one. That just happened last
few weeks ago.
We came 5th overall in the age group, which was really good.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so a mate of mine at the gym, Lockie McRae. So him and I did that. So we're going to line up for the second one down at Melbourne this year as well.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
that's going to be a ripper.
Nice, but I think it's just like something to work towards as well. And I think that's probably what's kept me enjoying that sort of aspect of life as well. All the different sports. Like I just continue to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, just been doing a lot throughout the years. So last couple of years have definitely like been heavily involved with sports.
Yeah.
Even after high school days, like I know it's hard to still stay in touch with sports and that, but I think I just enjoyed it too much to the point where like I get so much out of it. Health benefits, good mental state. Keeps me fit and healthy. Like things like that. It's just for me, that's what makes me happy doing it. And just keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, you've heard it from the man himself, Brendan Lee. Thank you for coming on. This basically we got to wrap it up now, but look, thanks for coming on. And you've heard it from his childhood through school to moving overseas, coming back again, and then summing it up with getting back into what he went to university for. And as Brendan mentioned, it's all about opportunities. So if any kind of opportunity comes up, and if you're really unsure about it, Brendan himself took that big leap, and I think you don't really get anywhere if you're sort of staying in the same pool. You got to test your wings. You got to get out of that, get out of that comfort zone. So if there's anything to take away from this, then that's definitely it. And then the last one, mate. I think I thought about this. We'll keep it short though, but like, would you want to do like a CrossFit competition for PNG one day, as in like run it, or like imagine that all the provinces coming together and just going, who's the fucking fittest in the fucking in the zoo? Bro, imagine that. It's a friendo.
Hey, I like the sound of that, and honestly, if I can take that something as simple as CrossFit and make it a big thing in PNG, at least just run something like that, I think it'd be a great opportunity, and I think it'll definitely change a lot of people's lives as well. But if there was something in that
with structure and actual proper
actually like something that's like something I can take from here, because obviously here like the standards are a lot higher, and like what we do here in sports is second to none. And I think if we can like somehow just
harness that,
grab that and just even take it to PNG and start something there, I think it'd be a great opportunity for young kids growing up as well. I think you'll see even kids back home can actually make something for themselves and hopefully lead to bigger things in the future for them. So,
well, there you go.
One day we'll see.
There you go. You heard it here. You heard it here first.
I wouldn't mind running a comp, but it'd be special to do something back home.
Yeah, and I think there's already there's some gyms there that are touching into that, but that would be a big breath of fresh air if someone came and took it by the reins. But hey, look, we're running out of time, guys. It was great to get Brendan Lee onto the show, and I think the Uncle's song is gonna play right now. Okay, Uncle's out, guys. Thanks, Brendan Lee. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And thanks again to you guys for having me on board. I definitely appreciate it. And you guys are doing an amazing job. So keep it up. And hopefully be back one day again.